Good afternoon, class. So today is 4th of May, and we will have to cover the current affairs of today. The first news is related to the nuclear challenge that is posed by North Korea. I hope you remember exchanges has been made between the US government and the North Korean regime with respect to the denuclearization of the peninsula, that is the North Korea and the South Korea. And on the other hand, North Korea demand has been the removal of the sanctions that are imposed by USA, which is halting the trading capacity of the North Korean country. Now, both these particular countries have accused each other of having a stern approach and a hard-handed approach in solving the issues. Already we have talked about the policy of Joe Biden. Joe Biden have said that neither I will be in oblivion to the situation that is currently or the threat that is posed to security and the peace of the region by North Korea. Neither I will have an accommodative approach as Mr. Trump wanted to do a strategic change with respect to the negotiation in the North Korea. Now, having said that, the issues that are concerning the region is the stability of the region. North Korea is saying that any threat or any hard stance, because Mr. Joe Biden have said that it will be a mix of somewhere between Mr. Trump and somewhere between Mr. Barack Obama, and it is posed or supposed that the North Korea will be brought on the table for all the negotiations and the diplomacy that is needed to be done. So we will have to see again what will happen. But every time there is a presidential candidate in USA, there is a increasing threat that is posed by North Korea. And every time the president comes or any president that is there, North Korea is always regarded as a situation or a country that is hostile to the rule of order. So that is what the democracy believes, and that is what the people of America believes. Otherwise, if you see them, they have not attacked any country. They are not posing threat to anybody. The nuclear program of theirs is only for the domestic security, because they very well knew they do not have very good relations with all the people of the world. So if you do not have good relation, at least you should have power. Okay, this is generally one of the fallout in the families also. Even if you do not have good relations, you can survive in the society if you have power with yourself. But if you do not have any contacts, do not have any relations with anybody, it becomes very difficult without the relatives and all the people who are surrounding you to survive in the, you can say, normal go-to-go arena or the playground which we called a social or society of India, or social interaction or society of India. The next one is a One Health approach that target people and animals. Now, please understand, first of all, when we talk about the COVID situation, most of the time it has been regarded as a zoonotic disease that has breached the species barrier and then it traveled to the human beings. Now, before the COVID, there have been multiple cases of Nipah, SARS, and MERS, which were situated into the unexplored area of the forest, and the human activity basically carried them from the region of the deep dark forests to the urban areas of the countries. Now, when we talk about One Health approach, this is an approach that the humans itself as a species cannot remain fit until unless the animals and the species also remain fit, and the viruses that are being contained should be contained only within the species. It should not be traveling inter species. Now, when we talk about the issues that are related, there is a One Health approach, that is the health of the plants, health of the animals, and the health of the humans. And it is as a type of a OD that is being paid to the constructive approach that everybody is dependent on every other person. So as we are seeing now, poultry is currently used in extensive for the requirement of the protein in different countries. So therefore we have a direct relation with the animals, and these particular animals, if we are going to the jungles and there is some meat eating that is currently happening from the jungles, there is a direct threat that this particular virus may travel to the human beings. Now, having said that, it was realized by the international organizations. There is Food and Agriculture Organization, there is WHO, United Nations Environment Program, and the Organization of Animal Health. They have come together and they have said that as we say today, the approach that we are dealing with the animal health, we should also be concerned about, as the viruses can travel from the animals to the humans, and as we are consuming different type of dairy products, different type of poultry products, and the meat industry is also thriving, or pork industries in the other countries, there is a need to look for an alternative approach with respect to the common health and One Health approach to everybody. Now, when we talk about it specifically in the case of India, we have already seen that the Indian government is taking basically steps regarding to the National Disease Animal Control Program. We have already talked about it earlier. There have been 13,000 crore that is being allocated for checking two diseases, that is foot and mouth disease of the animal, and second one is the brucellosis disease. Okay, so brucellosis disease basically completely stop the milk that is coming from the cows, and that actually can hamper the economic prospects of that particular family which is involved in dairying or is feeding the person with respect to the dairying. Now, these are the two issues that are considered here. Now, when we talk about different kind of viruses, the most common virus is the rabies virus, because there are two examples that Atul Chaturvedi have given. First of all, he talked about the poultry sector and the products that we are easily consuming, and second, that we actually keep a type of a laser in the forms of the dogs, kittens, and other animals that are kept at home as a pet. Now, when we talk about rabies, is the second most disease, and 96% of the cases are belonging to the dog bite. Now, if we vaccinate all the dogs, then the rabies virus may not travel to the humans, but it is costing right now to the world approximately $6 billion rupees. So that is two example that he have quoted. He says that right now picturing that humans health is different to the animals health and the environment health is the thing of the past. We have to see the things in tandem and things in a type of a particularly interlinked manner, which would provide a way to control all the situations that are currently uncontrollable in the form of COVID. And maybe in the future, as these attacks will come forward and humans will trying to explore the different parts of the world with the help of technology, we will be going far deep into the corners and the forests. So there will be more interaction. So humans should be prepared regarding it. And the One Health approach could be the best possible way to go forward for the whole welfare of the humanity. Okay. So इसको ध्यान रखिए. The next one is the Central Vista have gotten the nod with respect to the clearance of the environment. The environment ministry that was there, and in that particular backdrop, there have been various demands from the various quarters, specifically the opposition party, who have been saying for diversion of the money from the COVID to the welfare and the vaccination of the people. Now, when we talk about environmental ministry, already we know that this particular project, what it owes to do, this project is costing approximately 13,500 crore. So that is the type of money that the government of India is spending without looking on the ongoing crisis. Although they are taking the aid, but the construction of the parliament and the parliament building could have been delayed for a certain period in the time of crisis. There was no need for such a heavy infrastructure to be developed in India when the people are dying on the roads. So these are some of the things and issues that are needed outlook. The next one is the 7 Myanmar refugees can approach UNHCR. So there are refugees of Myanmar who have crossed the border and they have been staying in the states of Myanmar, Nagaland and Mizoram. Mizoram and Nagaland very sympathetic with respect to the cause of people in Myanmar who have been fleeing to this particular because of the relations that they had cross border, both in case of economic, social, and maybe some relations that are direct relations between the two countries. Now, when we talk about, please understand, most of the people who are sitting at the core area of the states, so for example, if you are in Delhi, it is very easy to consider this particular fact that the Rajasthan boundary is there, and you can picture the boundary that there is a complete construct boundary from where nobody should be going here and nobody should be going there. But if you see the border areas, I hope you remember in the state of HP, we have been Lavi Fair that is currently sponsored or was filled with the products that were coming from Tibet directly. Now, Tibet was a foreign country. We already has ascertained that this is the territory of Kinnaur, and then again there was a trade that was going on a larger part. And there was also issues that is considerate with respect to the revival of the trade. Now, it is easier for all those people who are within, not in close proximity to the border, to say that you should be entirely worried about the people of your own country. But these people, they do not have the sense of the border. Of course, they know that This is the territory and this is the other country. This is where the second police start. But the people at individual level, basically, they interact with one another in the same manner as they used to do earlier. Okay? They have almost the same culture, almost the same language, and almost the same type of interests and religious beliefs on the either side. You see the situation of Kinnaur and the region of China that it is touching. You see Arunachal Pradesh and the northern part that it is touching. You see West Bengal and Bangladesh, they have the same culture. So this is a, although the border is being managed, but still there is different kind of trade that is currently happening between the two nations. You see Sri Lanka and Tamil Nadu, we have Tamil Ilam, the major demand that was in Sri Lanka. So it is difficult for all the people to picture this, that how you should interact with other countries' people. But on the border, the borders are a type of a vague notion in those people mind. They know that there is a border, but they hardly follow it. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. It is just like the district, you do not realize where the district starts. Okay? Although the district's border are fixed, but when you move from one district to another district within a particular state, you do not realize. Your memory with respect to the state borders maybe is more hardline as compared to the borders of the district. So I hope this is clear. And if I go further, the borders of the tehsil, I don't think that many of the people will know that where the tehsil ends. Most of the people in the state of HP wouldn't know that where a particular tehsil ends and where the area is. So I hope this is clear. Now in that, the Myanmar refugees, as they were coming, they have been guided by the locals over there that they can file a case in the United Nations Human High Commissioner for Refugees, and they can ask for a type of asylum in the state of India. Now, please understand, India have not signed the Refugees Convention of 1952, I think, or 53. I'm not able to recall the year, but India have not signed the Refugee Convention, and India have always said that the humanitarian efforts that India take does not mandate, or it is not compulsory for India, because without signing the convention, India is doing enough for all the people of the world coming from all the religion, faith, and the countries. And in that particular part, there is another policy called as a non-refoulement. Now, what is a non-refoulement? Non-refoulement is a principle under international law which says that if there is a particular human that have migrated from one country to another country and there is an imminent danger to the life, property, dignity, or even the human rights in the other nation, that particular person shall not be deported. India have already followed this particular part. So although India have not signed the convention, but still a lot of people have basically found they stay in India, and now they are asking for approach to the UNHCR. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Further moving on, ICMR to get royalty from the sale of the Bharat Biotech Covaxin. So Covaxin, how much money they will be how much doses they will be selling. That generally will amount to the type of a payment of royalty to the company, because it is a public funding research that has been conducted over there, and therefore it is in news. And ICMR and the BBIL has a MOU between them. So how much doses they will be selling, some amount of it will be going to the ICMR. The next one is the Serum Institute of India get to invest 240 million in UK. So they will be investing 240 million in UK, and in India they will be investing 1 billion euros, as the UK government and the Indian government are cooperating with one another on the economic front and also the COVID response, specifically in the terms of vaccines. So that is what is happening. Okay, further moving on, the next news is related to embrace diplomacy. Blinken have told North Korea, they have said that you should sit on the table, talk about the issues, and there is a group of 7 that is type of a meeting that is going to be happen in the first of the group of 7 meeting in the 2 years that was suspended due to COVID. I hope you remember the G7 countries, and in those particular countries, Japan, South Korea, Australia and India has been invited on the sideline. So generally it is called as Group of 7 plus 4 or Group of 7 plus 3 because South Korea may have been suspended this particular meeting for time being. So these are some of the things that have been happening over there. Okay. The next news is related to factory output deaccelerates. It is known by PMI, so of course it was expected that the purchasing manager index, the output of the manufacturing sector is going to decrease. This was predicted as the states that belong to the different amount of cases are the more industrial states such as Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Maharashtra. So they have been suffering huge number of cases day in and day out, which have put a burden on the economic activities because partial and a complete lockdown in some states has been imposed, which led to the migration of the workers back to the home. So already we have talked about the demand of MG Narega in the month of April. It is going to increase further, uh, I think by the end of May, because the curve will not have been flattening. I think somewhere around 15th of May, the curve will be at its peak. As the experts are saying, I am no expert. I'm just taking a cue from all the people who have been discussing, and according to an observation or a analytical person, I could say that the month of May will be the highest ever recorded cases we are going to see in the history of India or even in the history of the world. The next one is the OPC shares slid as India oil imports shrank 11.8%. I hope you remember the controversy last month. Mr. Raj Pradhan the oil and petroleum minister, Mr. Pradhan, have requested the Gulf nations to basically cut down the Asian royalty that the countries are basically paying up and over with respect to the availability of the crude oil. Now, what is Asian premium? Please remember, Asian premium is the oil product that is brought by the countries who are within the Asian continent. They have to pay approximately 1% of the extra money with respect to the total production or the money, the prices that are being fixed, that is the Asian premium. Now, why the countries pay Asian premium? Because it is a security that is sought by the Gulf nations that if they are going to supply a constant amount of fuel and crude to the nations, there should be an extra guarantee that is needed to be provided. So that's why these particular countries have been preferred that the Asian, they are paying 1% extra money, so a sufficient amount of oil facilities will be provided. Now, last month, Mr. Pradhan has said that we have requested the Gulf nation to basically cut down the Asian premium or remove the Asian premium, all such, because that is a discriminatory practice with respect to the prices that is being offered to the other nations and offered to the Asian nations. The Gulf nations did not respond. So then Mr. Pradhan have said to the oil producing companies, oil processing companies, not producing companies. So they have requested the oil processing companies to look for an alternative, and they have found alternatives in the way of USA and Canada, in which the shares have been increasing and it has been decreasing in the Gulf countries. So that is the alternative we are currently going to have. I do not see this is going to be very successful because when the distance is huge, the transportation or getting the facilities is also huge. Gulf nations is looking just beyond the Arabian Sea, is in close proximity. So sooner or later, whatever may be the reason, we will be getting the major amount of crude oil only from the Arab nations. So I think that is it for today.